you could see that as the BJP leaders are trying to enter the place, all power right now is the power. This has become the epicenter of what is going to happen in Karnataka, who's going to form the government. You already know what is happening as JDS and Congress parties are having a kind of tussle to keep the flocks together. There are words that 3 Congress MLAs are out of communication and 2 JDS MLAs are also out of communication, but these are all not confirmed for now. This seems to be the epicenter, and behind leaders are entering the governor's Raj Bhavan presently.
Okay, so we are receiving information, Pramod, that Muralidhar Rao, JP Nadda, Yeddyurappa and Prakash Javadekar, all of them are currently headed to the Raj Bhavan.
Exactly, and right now we could see that behind me, Yeddyurappa has already reached. He's inside the place right now. The other vehicles are also, another vehicle was also allowed. We saw Shobha Karanje inside this. Other people are being asked to stay back. You cannot enter Raj Bhavan without permission, so they are being asked to stay back. They are over there. We also seen like people are talking, and at this point you could see that the major developments at this point here only as Congress party and BJP, everybody JDS are holding their talks together. About alliance and everything. This is where the actual action is right now. You could see that it's very at this place, everybody is one by one are assembling at this location. That is Raj Bhavan. Yeddyurappa is already inside, and in a few in a matter of minutes we would know what the governor has decided.
Right. So the crucial decision is whether Mr. Yeddyurappa is called to stake claim to form the government. But let's not forget, Pramod, that Mr. Yeddyurappa will have to prove his majority in the floor of the House. And at this moment, at least, they don't have those numbers on their side. So as per procedure, how do things develop, Pramod? At this stage, Yeddyurappa has gone to the governor saying these are the MLAs who have pledged support. How is he going to stake claim without being at the halfway mark?
Well, it's a very interesting way this actually the mathematics plays over here. For instance, what happened in Goa and Tripura is an entirely different episode where the majority was brought in. I mean, the people, when the after coalition was brought in, they were asked, the governor called them to form the government. At this point, it's very interesting because the numbers are still fluctuating. We have 104 plus 1 MLA for now with BJP, 78 plus 1 with Congress, that is another independent MLA, and 38 with JDS, which means, however, JDS and Congress has the upper hand. But for some reason, the governor has decided to go ahead, and here, instead of following the norms, he has decided to go ahead and call up Yeddyurappa, which is completely different because since
No, we are not sure, Pramod, whether the governor has called Yeddyurappa. Let's be very clear. We are not sure at the moment whether Mr. Yeddyurappa has been called. This is the stage where the leader of the legislative party goes to the governor, shows him the numbers that he has. I'm afraid we want some more clarity on, are we sure that the governor has come out with a decision yet?
Well, not yet. The governor has not yet made the decision, but it's very interesting how Yeddyurappa seems to be the first person to meet the governor. That seems to be the question over here, because you saw what happened yesterday. Congress and JDS tried to get permission, but they were not denied. I mean, we could not say denied, but they were not given permission because governor yesterday said that once the final numbers are given, only then he will call, he will make his decision. But here, for the day, it's Yeddyurappa who said first, and there you could see behind, more BJP leaders are also on the way, and action has started over here. Only another maximum of 20 minutes, we would know what the governor has decided. But for now, Yeddyurappa seems to be the first person who's got the chance to meet the governor here.
Right. And that is an important development because it's extremely critical now to understand that it is the governor ultimately who has the prerogative, who has the discretion to decide who he calls and who he appoints as the chief minister. However, subsequent to that, whoever is given a chance will have to prove their majority in the floor of the House. That is something which is absolutely clear. So, Pramod, what are the options really for Mr. Yeddyurappa? Because yes, we do know that attempts are being made to reach out to the weak links of the other parties, but JDS and Congress seem confident at this point that they have their flock together.
Very interestingly, you put out the factor calling it as reach.
After I will talk to you. Thank you. I'm not showing my logo. You can't on
Yes, Pramod, please carry on. We interrupted you in between. Carry on, please.
Well, sure. The thing is that, as the way you pointed out, calling it as like reach out, JDS and Congress are not calling it as a process of reach out, but horse trading, and that's what they're afraid of. In fact, we're also getting information right now that there are also, ideas are being given to keep the flock together. Maybe we could also see that this development goes ahead and goes to the level of resort politics. That's what we call when the MLAs are being kept together at one place. We are hearing that 58 Congress MLAs are already with, they have are under communication, let me call it that way. But other MLAs, what happened to the rest is a bit of confusion right now.
Okay.
Only Congress can confirm this for this matter. But here, Yeddyurappa with 104, even if he asked the governor to form the government, he has to prove his majority, for which he might be given a certain number of days. For instance, it could be 2 days or even also 10 days. That depends on the governor.
Right. As per constitutional convention, it is true that the single largest party ought to be invited first. However, that convention has been breached recently in Manipur and Goa, and that has been the main argument of the Congress party. So the governor in that sense is in a bit of a tight spot here. You know, does he go with precedents or does he go with strict constitutional convention? Pramod?
Well, apparently there seems to be a confusion there also. As you might know, earlier Arun Jaitley, the Union Minister, also had a kind of he gave an explanation, but that was back what was the condition then. Right now what's happening is that here governor has a solemn power to decide what he will do. Either he could go ahead and state that 104 plus 1 MLAs are with Yeddyurappa, which has the majority, and he can go ahead and say that let him form the government and then prove his majority, or which also occurred in Tamil Nadu back in 2017, if you could remember, with EPS, when OPS decided to go ahead and call in for a no confidence motion, or depending on what JDS and Congress, how are they trying to give an explanation to the governor stating that they have the majority, he can make the decision. But these are the two options in front of the governor for now, and it is being said, we are not sure, but it's being said that Yeddyurappa might get an upper hand at this point.
Okay, for the sake of our viewers, let's just tell our viewers, as per the Sarkaria Commission recommendation, the options for the governor in case of a fractured mandate, Pramod, is first, it can invite the alliance of parties that was formed before the elections. There's no such situation here. The governor can invite the single largest party that stakes a claim to form the government with the support of others, including independents. That situation is here in favor of the BJP. The governor can invite a post-electoral coalition of parties as well, with all the partners in the coalition joining the government. That is the situation with the JDS and the Congress. So all these options are open to the governor. Now tell us, what action do you see outside? I can see a lot of security deployment. Who are the people arriving there from the side of the BJP along with Mr. Yeddyurappa?
Well, that's quite right, and you could see a lot of protection and safety security has been provided to this location. And as I mentioned earlier, we saw 3 vehicles that come out of this place, of which 2 has entered. On one was Yeddyurappa and his people with him, and the second one had Shobha Karanji, and we also saw Sadananda Gowda, Union Minister, at this point. But certain other leaders were not given permission. They had to either stay out or go ahead and park the vehicle somewhere else and be close by only. At this point, Yeddyurappa is with governor, and he's going to have a conversation, and he's going to state that his party is the one that has a majority. For now, the number seems to be 104 plus 1. That is the independent candidate, and with that, he would seek his permission to form the government. We have to wait for another maximum 10 minutes. We will know what is going to happen. Similarly, at Congress and JDS camps, they are also having a conversation right now how to deal this situation, because the next could be Kumaraswamy. He would bring along with the supporting candidates, MLAs list of both Congress and JDS, and we are expecting that he could be accompanied with by DK Shivakumar and Congress President of KPCC. They would come over here, and they would also talk with the governor to find out what are the options for them.
We have just received information, Pramod, that the BJP has handed over a letter to Governor Vajavaiwala to actually show the numbers that they have, which of course only goes to show that they are the single largest party, not that they have the majority figure. So there is a lot now in terms of strategy that the parties probably need to resort to. What are the options for the BJP really? Because unless and until they make sure that there are some abstentions, that some of those MLAs abstain and the majority mark comes down, there is absolutely no scope for the BJP.
Well, exactly. You're absolutely right about it. 104 plus 1 is not the majority for Karnataka. Of the 224, they have to show the majority half mark. But the interesting factor here is that we also should know what occurred in Tripura and Goa earlier. So it could sway
Manipur and
either
Goa,
way.
yes.
But depending on the way, it seems like from the ground. Exactly. Based on the ground reality, it seems, I'm reiterating again, that it seems that there is a lot of possibility that Yeddyurappa can go ahead and form the government, post which he has to face a no confidence motion. At that point, the tables could turn. However, right now, Congress and JDS are more concentrating on the matter to keep the flocks together. This is where resort politics and horse trading can happen, because
and we saw a lot of that drama, Pramod, which you covered, which happened in the case of Tamil Nadu, isn't it? The drama that unfolded during the no confidence motion, we saw how tense that can get. Are we looking at a similar situation here as well?
Well, there is quite a lot of possibility, and we are also expecting that there is a possibility of these MLAs to be taken to either Kochi, or we are also getting like certain resorts names in the state of Bengaluru as well. But we have to wait and watch, because right now, after Yeddyurappa meets, we are expecting that Kumaraswamy would also come over, and he'll also seek the governor's state. I mean, give his numbers of MLAs who are supporting him to form the government. Post which the governor would give out his decision. Only after that, this is expected. But here, right now, these are the options, and we are from the ground, experts and analysts claim there is a vast number of possibility that this could lead to resort. This is what we call it as resort politics.
And very interesting information coming in, Pramod. Srija has also shared this information that some of the BJP MLAs are also willing to cross over. So the situation is extremely fluid. It's not just the Congress MLAs and the JDS where we are looking at a possibility of defection. There could be a defection from the side of the BJP as well.
Exactly. In a scientific term, this is called as Newton's fluid, which either, at one point looks solid and the other point looks liquid. As you mentioned, that is the situation right now. But we are not sure, because these are the news that is being leaked by BJP camp and Congress camp. So we are not sure, are they trying to play any kind of psychological game over here?
Okay, Pramod,
but it is said yesterday there
Pramod,
was a word
have to
about...
leave it at that. We have big breaking news coming in. Let me just read that out for our viewers. Information just coming in that the BJP has handed over a letter to the governor asking the governor to invite them to form the government in Karnataka. That's the big breaking news. Mandar joining me on this development. Yes, Mandar, over to you for all the latest. What exactly has been the development inside the Raj Bhavan with Yeddyurappa landing up there with a letter to the governor?
As we know right now that the BJP delegation has already gone under the leadership of Mr. Yeddyurappa to meet governor. Basically, this is a typical formation of the government politics which is ongoing in the Karnataka, that BJP now has handed over a letter to governor and asking governor to invite them for forming a government, being a single largest party. That is what is the continuous argument which BJP is doing as a political party in Karnataka, especially at the backdrop of this particular meeting again by the BJP delegation. This is almost a second visit of BJP leadership to governor. That shows how BJP is also really resolved to form the government, and they are doing all possible efforts to reach out to that particular formation of the government efforts.
Right. So, Mandar, the only strong point that the BJP has in their favor is that they are the single largest party. But what about the other aspect of not making it to the halfway mark? I mean, can they really stake claim to form the government without having the requisite numbers in their favor?
Big question to answer by the governor right now, because governor would in his own discretion, in his own understanding of constitution, he would call in the coalition or the single largest party. Now it is completely up to the governor, as we have been saying since morning, because all kind of political conjectures are all in the air. But at the same time, this fluid condition in Karnataka can be only solved by the Karnataka's government, Vajubhai, because both the coalition and the single largest political party, BJP, is claiming that they have the capacity to form
right.
the government.
So, Mandar, it's extremely interesting because then the question is, like you said, the prerogative is that of the governor, but the governor, will he go with convention, with constitutional convention that says that you need to invite the single largest party, or is he going to go with precedents? Because remember, that convention was breached very recently by the BJP again, where the single largest party was not invited. So the governor has a tightrope walk there.
As I say, this is a typical constitutional situation right now, and this is all up to the governor's discretion as of now. This is the first single step. Then on, it will again open up to various interpretation of law and constitution and the rest of the precedent level historical documentation. Because
yes.
The thing is, if at all now the BJP is being called for formation of government, they will have to prove their majority on the floor. That too in a stipulated time, apparently.
Absolutely.
But that time, if it is being prolonged, then politically it will be very vulnerable situation, and in that situation, the horse trading will be encouraged. So this is all now dependent on what governor decides.
So, Mandar, you're outside one of the hotels in Bengaluru where members of JDS are currently in a huddle, I believe. What information coming out of there? Any information, any lowdown on what the JDS is up to? What is their strategy? Because this is a golden opportunity for them, because even though they don't have the mandate, you know, it's being offered to them on a platter by the Congress party, conceding so much ground, giving them the CM's position and also the lead partner in the alliance.
Indeed, it's an opportunity for a party like JDS, and JDS will not really lose this particular moment very easily, because as of now, Mr. Kumaraswamy has already entered a while ago, and while talking to him informally, we just asked him, what is your reaction? He just told clearly to us that in wait for some time, maybe in half an hour time or 1 hour's time, I will come and talk to the media and clear out all the cloud, because he is right now in meeting with most of the elected members of his own political party. They will again treat this particular meeting as their party's legislature meeting, and then they will all elect their own leader in Kumaraswamy. So obviously this particular functioning will happen now, and then Mr. Kumaraswamy will come and clear the clouds about his political party.
Because, Mandar, you were mentioning this earlier and we were discussing this, that how the JDS also, you know, it will be extremely critical for them to have all their MLAs on board. There should not be any dissension and disagreement about joining hands with the Congress party. After all, these are two parties that fought against each other in this election, and we know that Mr. Yeddyurappa doesn't exactly have a very comfortable relationship with father and the son, Mr. Devegowda and Kumaraswamy.
Although that is there, but the top Congress leadership has already ensured that communication. Yesterday also we have first shown the visuals of Mr. Yeddyurappa talking to Mr. Kumaraswamy as something like a very U-turn from the politics within the Karnataka. Yesterday was the day which has really witnessed how in politics as a game of possibilities, yesterday's foes can become today's best friends.
Right.
So that is what already happened yesterday, and then now. Obviously, it is up to the JDS now to decide their own course of action in a while, maybe in an hour.
No, but that assumes significance from the perspective of whether this alliance will be a stable one, even if it is forged and is allowed to form the government. Thanks for joining us, Mandar, with your inputs.